So decided to get all of the guitars that are modified by the Demo Shop Mod Shop together, and the ones that are, of course, the basic. Some of them are cosmetic, like this one right here. This is the tribute 60s tribute with the P90s in it, and it is really just black plastics added to the guitar after it having originally, I believe, cream colored plastics on this model. Nothing else was really done to it. It doesn't have any special additions to the pickup or preamp or anything like that. It's just your basic 2016 60s tribute with P90s, which I always thought was funny because generally 50s is when you found the P90s and 60s was when you found the humbuckers, and in the tributes it's backwards. The 60s has the P90s and the 50s has humbuckers, but maybe that's something, whatever. Anyway, bottom line is that this guitar has a sound that is absolutely what you think a P90 equipped guitar should sound like. It can be it can go from glassy to muted. It's kind of the benchmark for this little comparison of all the different Mod Shop guitars, because it is essentially the way it was built for, from the factory with all of its electronics. It's just a visual change, but it is a heck of a guitar to play, and it has just the right sound. But it has a sort of sibling in this collection that is also a 2016 model, and it has a different look, but has a lot of the same appointments overall. So without further ado, on to the next one. So this one is the satin brown Tribute HP. It is also a 2016 model, but it has the benefit of having the humbuckers with coil splits, bypass, and phase. So it has the modern CPA setup, and it is a Tribute, it is absolutely a fun guitar to play. It has all the same feeling of the Tribute P90, but because it's an HP, it has the sculpted heel joint, neck joint. So with that in mind, this guitar has a little bit better access up high. Now, overall, does it make a difference? Nah, not really. The guitar itself plays about the same. You'd have to be in the upper register all the time to really come to appreciate how much or whatever the HP modifications are. Now, it does have the titanium nut, so that nut is kind of cool because very little chance of it ever hanging up during string, restringing or tuning. Tuning stability with little rollers in it is actually really good. I have had no problems. Once I set it, it stays wherever it goes. So with that in mind, it does play really well. But enough of me talking. Let's hear what it sounds like. Splitting the coils to bring it back down to single coils. One of the things I like most about this particular guitar is the way the phase reversal sounds on it. Especially if you take and put the bridge in single coil. It doesn't really make nearly as much difference with some distortion on it. But it has, I believe this one has the 490 and 490R and 498Ts in it, and they sound great split, and I got nothing but love for the way that sounds. But this one has a great sound on a clean tone that is really challenging to say, man, I don't like the way that sounds, because it really does feel great. Let's see what's next. So this is the Translucent Cherry Classic, and as you saw in the last video, it is very much similarly built to the Mystic Forest Burst Classic. So it has a lot of the same shape, a lot of the same neck stuff. The difference between it is this one has the modern CTS pots that have the coil split, bypass, and phase, which makes it incredibly versatile. But that is also the exact same stuff that all classics have if you order a Gibson Classic right now. The things that make this one different is, obviously, these appointments are mixed chrome and black. Same thing with the pickup rings and pickups. Parloid pick guard is specifically shaped for this particular one, which could go either way. A lot of people do not like that particular one on this guitar. I kind of think it looks cool. I think it also adds a little to the actual way the guitar looks. But at the same point in time, that's my own personal opinion. Nothing special on the back. Nothing special on the neck, except for the fact that it has the blacked out hardware. Now, that is something that on this Classic it also got, is the blacked out hardware. But it went full black because it fits the motif of the actual Mystic Forest Burst guitar. Now, this guitar has a unique sound because it has 490R and 490Ts. They're not 490R and 498T. So these guys are just 490s, and they can be split. But that's not a bad thing because it has its own sound, and that sound is pretty good. See, if I split that, it has a different sound than what the Tribute HP has because different setups. But that also means that in phase reversal, it also has a unique sound as well. That sound with the front pickup in single, bridge in the humbucker with the phase reversed, sounds real good with a crunch. Take the phase reversal off, and it sounds completely different. This guitar is incredibly flexible, has a lot of good tones in it, and it just feels good. My only complaint about this guitar is they didn't make more of them. Actually, that's really not a bad thing, because this is one of a kind. I mean, realistically, is it such a bad thing to have a one of a kind guitar? But now it's time for the other classic. Now, this guitar makes a case for not needing fancy electronics to do amazing things. Now, this guitar itself is a classic just like the other one. It even has similar wood grain to the other one, though it is all blacked out on the hardware. And the uncovered dirty fingers, which realistically is how most dirty fingers pickups are. But all black there, if they had all blacked out the knobs, that might have been a little over the top. It's nice to have the digits there to know exactly where it's at. No poker chip, no Les Paul silkscreen, just your mother of pearl inlay here. The back of the guitar has a lot of beautiful mineral in it. It is a really spectacular guitar. Now, it doesn't have any of the cool electronics. It's just set up that way. And it is Gibson pots, as we saw in the last video. So this guitar has no fancy dancy switching. It's just a beautiful guitar with an amazing finish and some really good tones that come out of it. And this guitar, now bear in mind, I have taken this guitar and played it already. We've heard some crunch out of it. We've heard other tones out of it. But this guitar, on these two amps that I'm going to be playing through, because right now what we're doing is we're using the Fender 68 Twin Reverb for clean, and then using the Code 100 for the crunchy turn. And I've got it set to number 18, which is Dirty Blues. So we have got a almost JCM 800-ish sound coming out of the Code, and it is a modeling amplifier, so therefore it can make some pretty convincing sounds out of itself. But this guitar, you have to understand that if you don't turn it down, it is going to fill the room with whatever you're playing. Now, both the Code 100 and the 68 Twin are set to between 4 and 5. The 68 Twin is right at 4.5, and the Code 100 is right about 5. It's just a little bit louder because tube versus printed circuit. But solid state systems make for great because they give you the sound all the way across the board, and there's some pretty good convincing breakup that happens on the modeling setup. But at the end of the day, this guitar has sounds that come out of it that you can't get out of anything that doesn't have dirty fingers. And the only thing we've ever had, or only thing I've ever had that was close to it, was the HP Flying V. So that Flying V HP that also had dirty fingers in it, but didn't have any of the coil splits or anything like that. And this has that same high gain but it comes out of a Les Paul and sustains forever. Now, we have one other modded guitar that I'm going to bring out, and it's a little bit different because these have all been modified by the demo shop / mod shop guys. These guitars are all ones that came out of the demo shop or mod collection. And this guitar right here, I'm almost promising you, should have wound up in the mod collection. I don't know why it didn't, especially with that golden sheen that just doesn't appear anywhere other than in direct sunlight. But this guitar is mod collection quality, except for maybe there's a little bit of sinkage right there. You can't even really see it, but there's just a little tiny bit of imperfection there. So maybe that's why that popped in there, or maybe they just had enough other stuff. Either way, the next guitar is a little different. So this guitar is different because it is a custom that was modified not by the demo shop guys, but by the actual custom shop. And it was modified to have a VOS finish. So it's like this particular one is really very similar to what you'd get on like an ultralight relic job. There's a few scratches here and there. There's wear and tear on the actual like pieces that are shiny. So you get a little bit of just like the ever so much slight of the slightest touch of wear and tear on the strap buttons, on the actual finish, on the anything that is shiny. So, and it also has 57 classics in it. So it has a little bit different sound than you get out of a 490, 498 setup in a standard set or in a regular custom Les Paul. So it is not quite the same, but it was modified by the actual custom shop. So it is not a standard production run. It is something that was modified by them, most likely for somebody. Did they do it because it was something that somebody custom ordered? I don't really have an answer for you. I don't even know why this guitar, I can't find any problems on this guitar. Maybe it was something that was repaired and covered up, but I can't find anything on this guitar that is anything other than what would have been like a light Murphy aging or something. But the point is that this guitar has a sound all its own, and because of the mojo of the aging or the VOS, it has a feel and a way that it sings that's a little different than a normal custom. I don't know what it is, but there's a mojo to this guitar. And it sounds and plays and feels a way that even my other 2007 Les Paul cannot compete with. Well, I shouldn't say compete. Cannot compare with. There's a different setup to it. It has a different feel. And the 57 Classics just give it a sound that I think is spot on. But again, that goes back to every guitar is unique. And Gibson, Mark Agnesi will tell you, and it's one of his favorite lines to say is, go find another one. Sometimes there's just no substitute for having a one-of-a-kind instrument, and each one has a little bit different mystique to it. And I'll be honest with you, that's kind of the allure to having a bunch of different guitars, because each one has something that it does, and each one, and I'm a firm believer in this, has a song in it. The question is, which song is it? What will it bring out of you? What will you play when you pick it up? And I think every guitar has that. Even the cheapest of little guitars, or the most expensive guitar, has a song in it. The question is, will you find it? So, there they are. A tale of several Les Pauls and the mods that were done to them. So, like I say, this is a sample of everything that we've gotten so far, and I guess we'll see if we get more. Till next time.